Just gonna be me here alone. Oh, we got some people joining. Bella, look. Got people looking at us. Say hi.
Which way you want me? Over here, right in that chair. Can we finalize that one other interview real quick?
Sure.
1 minute, Mr. Watts?
Yep, all right. Be right back.
Do you need anything to drink?
Got some water.
Okay, I'll get some water.
All right. Good. So how you doing?
Stressed out and stuff. Totally understand. I can understand what happened or what's going on.
Yeah.
Let's see. Like I'll tell them, shit. Graham.
Yeah.
She's a very controlling woman. As far as that, and my wife says she's a narcissist from what she got.
Well, you know, if I can put you up on something, I can answer you a couple basic questions, just your name and all that information, so I can take notes.
Ronnie
Watts,
W-A-T-T-S.
W-A-T-T-S. Okay. So your date of birth?
1456.
1456. Okay, and you're out of state, right? You came
I
out
live in North Carolina. Well, I live in Spring Lake, North Carolina.
Spring Lake. Okay, what's the address there?
1107 Vass, V-A-S-S Road.
V-A-S-S?
Yeah.
Road?
Yeah, Spring Lake.
Spring Lake.
28390.
28390. Okay, and we contact you, please, sir.
910-578-3408.
3408. Okay, that's a cell?
Yeah.
All right. And then, and obviously Chris is your son?
Yeah.
One boy, one girl. All right. And so you just flew out here today? This morning? Okay. All right. And if you could, maybe you could just start with what happened, how you became aware that there's a situation.
Chris would call me, let's see, get the date right, today's Wednesday, right?
Yes, sir.
And this was, happened Monday. He would call me and he said, today there's something going on, what's going on.
Do you remember what day that was?
It was Monday.
Monday? Okay. Do you know approximately what time?
It was morning time when I got home from work. It was around 6:30 my time, so then about 4:30 I can hear it probably something like that.
Good. With good.
Well, if my memory serves me right, I'm keep the days straight right now.
Yeah, no, and it just as best as you recall. So, okay, so about that time you gave your call, I said, something's going on?
Yeah.
Okay, and what did he tell you about that?
He said Chanel and the girls are missing, or gone, is what he told me. They're missing, they're gone, they don't know where they're at. He said she left her phone, her purse, her car. He says he has no clue what the hell she's run off with the kids or what the hell's going on. He was dumbfounded about it, more or less. And he told me the situation, what happened, that the other girl. He told me what happened that morning, that they had a discussion, because she already knew this was coming, that he wanted to get a separation and put the house up for sale. And as he said, the marriage just wasn't working any longer.
Were you aware of that prior to this phone call?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you knew they were married.
Yeah, he told me about a couple weeks prior to that, when he'd come down to, she'd come down to North Carolina for 6 weeks. And staying some with us, some with her parents. Her parents live about 30-40 miles from us.
Also, they're both there. Were they originally living in North Carolina before they moved out here to Colorado?
You come up.
I'm talking about Chris and, how do I say, Shanann.
They met, actually, a friend of ours introduced them. That's what, 7 or 8 years ago, whatever it was. And Chris left home at 18. When he graduated, he moved to Charlotte. He went to NASCAR Tech, and he worked at a Ford dealership for a few years. And then him and Stan moved in together out there, and then they decided to move to Colorado, out here. Now she's had friends up here for some reason. I don't know if we all out here, but anyway, that's what they did.
And then, how old were they when they met, or how long ago was that?
I've been 7 or 8 years ago.
7 or 8. And how old is Chris? I'm not even sure the age is.
His birthday is May 16th or 17th. My anniversary is one day, his birthday's the next. It's 16th or 17th. And it's 1985. It's 33.
Okay. So they met about 7 or 8 years ago in North Carolina, and then moved out. Do you remember when they moved out here?
That I couldn't tell you. I don't know exactly when that was.
Just a background information, but okay. So they moved on out here to Colorado. Did they have children while they were in North Carolina, or did they have one here? And it was these 2 children, right? And then one
Bella and CC, and one on the way.
All right. So when was that visit? You said that she was in North Carolina for about 6 weeks visiting her family?
That was, okay, they flew, calendar.
I can help out with that. Let's see. It was handy to have.
I'm trying to remember all the dates and stuff around about, but they just flew back, because she went to the Vail thing in Arizona. They got lost.
You think it's July? This weekend?
What's the day's date?
Today is the 15th. I'm sorry, I got all sorts of stuff that much.
But she went to what was it? But they flew back here, 8th and 9th, I think.
Oh, so this was recent. They just got back from North Carolina?
Yeah.
And it was the whole family?
Yeah, but she stayed out there 6 weeks. Chris came down for the last week.
Okay.
We come down there, which I got to see him one time when he was down there, because she refused to let us see the kids.
Yeah.
Because her and my wife had fallen out.
Okay.
Twice.
Okay. So for this week, they were both there?
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
good.
So we went on vacation. Me and my son-in-law and my other 2 grandkids, my wife stuff went to Myrtle Beach, and they were in North Myrtle Beach at the same time, and it was like 5 miles apart. But we still couldn't see the grandkids.
Okay. Yeah, so I definitely want to hear about that, some of the stuff that's been going on.
Yeah.
But you think they came back to Colorado the 9th to the 10th?
Somewhere she flew out and went to Arizona for the Vail conference thing, and the getaway thing they go on, which, if I'm not mistaken, she went out Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and flew back Monday morning, early in the morning. Like 1 o'clock in the morning, I think.
Came back here on Monday. Okay, so she went from North Carolina to the conference in...
No, they came back here first.
Oh, they came back here?
First, yeah.
And then she turned around.
Yeah, then she turned around, they went back here maybe 2 days, or 1 day I think it was, and she turned around and flew back.
Okay.
Well, hang on, I might be able to.
Okay.
My phone ain't good yet.
Oh, that conference you went to, was that in Las Vegas?
No, it was in Arizona.
Arizona.
I can pull up some of her stuff still on her Facebook, so I can't, I think I'm on those blocked. Anyway. Just have to pull my finder.
Oh, and I forgot to ask, but the girls were with them, right, when they visited in North Carolina? The two that they went on.
She was down because I said it was, she had the dates on here, whatever, on her Facebook thing, but I can't be here for it.
That's okay. That's okay.
But she was down for 6 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And Chris come down the last week, which was, I can't give you the exact dates on it. Anyway, Logan was down on the beach. Okay, this is, we haven't talked to her since that blowout, the second week she was there, or second weekend she stayed with us. And she sent this text to us. I got a freaking tape on it Thursday. This one added, okay, when they got back here, they did the sonogram for the baby. Okay, we have not talked to her from the time that, I'll tell you about the story about the both falling out in the hand. She sent this picture of the sonogram to me at 8 o'clock in the morning, my time, so it's 6 o'clock in the morning here. No comment or nothing on it, no nothing. At 11:30, well, okay, the time changed, okay, then at 1:30 that afternoon, she texted back, wanted to share the picture of the new baby. And she's reaching out, so that's when Chris, I think, originally told her that he had separation and stuff. That was, I'm not sure exactly when he told her, I think unthinkable has told her, because he told me when he was down for the visit, and he was down, he said, those 4 or 5 weeks he was here by himself, he said, I felt this alone then as I do when she's here. He said, there's no, she's like, I don't love her anymore.
And was that the first time, or were you aware of prior marital problems prior to that?
I could sense something was going on because, it just wasn't all lovey-dovey like it used to be. And anytime we come visit them, we come here a couple times a year and FaceTime with them and stuff. She's sitting on her ass on the phone, doing her little stuff. Chris is running around, taking care of the kids, feeding the kids, doing this, doing that, and then she accuses him of not doing anything with the kids, take care of the kids. I said, Chris, every time I see you, I said, you're doing everything with the kids, getting the class, feeding them, doing everything. He loves them kids today. But he didn't do anything to hurt one of the kids. Nothing, or neither one, but,
And was it something that would, from what you were seeing or what Chris had said to you, did it seem like it was serious marital problems even prior to this visit back to North Carolina?
I wouldn't say it was serious, it was just something that's been going on and on. He said, I should have done this a long time ago. And just like the baby now they're having, she was telling us when she was down here to visit, It was Christmas' idea. 80-20, they have another baby because he wanted a boy. And I mentioned that to him when he come down. That one afternoon I got to see him, he said it wasn't him, it was all her that wanted another child. And said she flips everything around on that type deal. Ain't trying to put her down or nothing, but just anyway, kind of person she is. Everything's about her. She has this persona that she wants, this image she wants out there all the time. Or what? Everything's hunky-dory, everything's beautiful in the world and stuff, when it's not. Like Chris told me, everything she has on Facebook is a mask. It's just to put on.
Is it all very positive? And
Everything that she tries to put out there, yeah.
okay.
Yeah, that's what she does.
What was the company that she works for? Is it makeup or something?
It's a veil that says, it's called, the company's a veil, but it's called Thrive. It's a nutrition thing, patches and pills and nutrition shakes and all that stuff. And it's come out with new weight loss patch and stuff.
Okay. Okay. And was that like a part-time job that she had?
That's all she did.
That's all she did is full-time?
And she had, before she got into this, doing 2 or 3 other jobs, like little department stores out here and stuff. Actually, she was, years ago, when it was here, when he worked at the Ford dealership, before he got to the old business, she got there and started selling cars, too. She was doing damn good.
Yeah.
She was a salesperson, believe me. See, that's what her knack is.
And is that what she does for Thrive? She's a salesperson?
She has a pyramid type thing. She has all these different people under her, and what they sell, she makes, money on what they sell.
Gotcha.
So it's a team thing, and I think she was like 34th or 35th in the company.
Oh, so she's pretty good at it.
And
Okay.
I actually asked Chris, but I told him, I said, if y'all do decide to sell or whatever, she can come back to North Carolina, or you want to stay out here, and he said that, the child support I have to pay, so I have to stay out there. So I can make that kind of money back there. Because it makes good money. I told him, mind me asking, what does she make? He said, she makes pretty much what I make.
Well,
So make money.
and I think somebody told me the other, so he's a supervisor for?
He's coming up for a former job, yeah.
Former job? And for Anadarko?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what they're looking at him for now.
Now, I know the oil money pays pretty well.
Yeah.
Do you know about what that is? What kind of salary?
I never asked him. And I don't want to get into that, I have no idea.
No, sure, and I'm curious because if she makes what he makes.
Yeah, I know she just started doing this last few years, I don't know what she made before.
Mm-hmm.
But, she's making good money now.
Do you know, did they have any financial problems? Was there any kind of, was that part of the marital, strife?
Not that I know of, but he said he don't see the reason they have to live in that big ass house they live in, because they don't need that kind of, as far as them, it was them 2 and 2 kids, they didn't need that, $300,000 house sitting out there. He said sometimes we'll struggle, making sure you're making that money, making that freaking house payment. That's part of life, everybody goes through that.
Sure. But as far as you know, nothing major.
He never called last week for the money.
He could say, they'd be like, hey, I'm a real bad dad, or she's a real bad dad.
Sometimes when Cece was born, but they even paid for my wife's flight to come out here, when she was being born and everything, we got to watch after kids, and when they go on some of their Lavelle trips, sometimes he went, sometimes he didn't, depending on what time you get off. My wife would come out here, I'd come out here too, and watch the kids while she was gone. And stuff like that.
So normal, everybody's got their bills and stuff.
Oh, yeah. I'll tell another little story. I was telling another guy when she come down for her visit, 6 weeks she was down there. Like I said, she was staying like 3 or 4 days with us, 3 or 4 days with her parents. And every time, I go back from the very beginning when I first met her, I had something that was a little different about her. I was telling him they had come down from the other grandkids' birthday party from Charlotte. And they had bought these Power Ranger costumes to wear. That's what was in back then. That was years ago. And they forgot the head mask, the head thing to go on. And that morning at the party, she sent them all the way back to Charlotte. That was a 3-hour drive from where we were at, back to Charlotte, and 3 hours back to get the mask. and just to prove my point more or less, whatever. Anyway, that was just something myself from that point. I said, something about that. I said, the mask thing, where 15, 20 minutes, they don't take the damn thing off anyway, they start playing with kids, and then what is a big deal. But when she come down this last time, she'll stay like 3 or 4 days with us. Like first 3 or 4 days, everything's fine. I mean, everybody's getting along good, having a good time. You know, I can show you a video here of the grandkids with my wife and stuff. Videos. Tell you on that.
Four chili monkeys jumping on the back. What's the walk and
I don't remember doing that one kid. I'm at the house. I don't have to flash it on my
And so everything was good at the beginning of the trip?
Yeah, well, I mean, every time she'd come over, it was just a matter of time for something would blow up. The 3rd or 4th day, whatever, the first time she came over, my next door neighbor had passed away, and that was the day that she was going to go back to Southern Pines. And my wife said, well, I gotta get my hair done, I gotta go pick up the flowers from my neighbor, and she come by where I work at a sewer dealership, she signs paper on the car I was getting. She was by, said, we're gonna take you back now, or wait this afternoon. So I just wait. She said, we know a while, it's gonna take a while to go. I said, okay, no problem. So she went and got her hair done, went and got flowers, come by my place, and realized she left her phone at the hairdresser. So my daughter, she's in her hair done too, she went and got up and bring it back to my work, and we was up in the finance office signing the paperwork. She then texted me, she said, where in the hell is Sydney at? So I've been alone here with these kids for 5 hours. I said, there's your kids. I went and bought a trampoline for them, a swimming pool, this little boat pool and stuff, and another TV for another room with a bigger TV so they can watch and everything. And I said, well, she had my wife in tears in the finance office. That's how bad she jumped in my wife's text. And I said, no person for that. And then she said, I'll be there in a minute. That's all right, I got my daddy come to get me. She's getting here, as soon as I get the car seats, I'll run his truck. So she left mad that day, and Chris called, was that night, and said, my wife asked him, he said, what do you want to do? For some reason I can't get along with her. He said, Mom, just let it go. And I said, that's just the way she is sometimes, just let it go. I said, okay, I'll do it for you. All right, second time she came over. We had fun, we had all kind of videos and pictures of them in the pool. My other 2 grandkids come over. Bella and Cece, that's Shanann's kids, are 4 and 3. My other 2 grandkids are 10 and 7. The top of them, that's their tattoo right there. The double D's. I was gonna get one on this side for they were finished having kids anyway. But they come over and Cece's got a nut allergy, which we knew about. And my wife had bought some ice cream, because actually one of them had nuts in it, but we had it up on the upper shelf, which Cece couldn't get to it, she got in the refrigerator freezer. And my other granddaughter, Dylan, had a little single serving ice cream cup, a little small thing, just like you buy at Walmart or whatever. And was in the bottom room, and she went there and got one, the other granddaughter. And Cece got upset because she couldn't have one, and so she said, well, honey, you can't have that, that one might have nuts in it, we haven't checked it yet, whatever, so you can't have it. And Shanann went off on her. So it's not fair, she can have one, and my child can have it, and all that type of stuff. And boy, I said, well, maybe it's a learning experience, so much you do like to learn, sometimes you can't have everything that she wants. And a few minutes later, she came down there and said, you just trying to kill my child. Screaming at my wife. And I wasn't there, but this is, I mean, my 2 grandkids, she didn't know what I was doing. And so he said, you actually think I would try to hurt one of your children? And she said, you just trying to kill my child. And Cindy said, well, I think you just need to go and leave. And she asked, well, I'm not coming back. That was the second visit, her daddy came up and get her, and for the rest of 4 or 5 weeks, that was the part of the second week, the next 4 weeks. No contact with her, the 2 grandkids, one of those 2 grandkids, they're 30 miles away. And we planned on going down to the beach with them and everything else, and we took out at my daughter's house and everything. All that got blown out. And when we did go to the beach, we was at Myrtle Beach, and there was at North Myrtle Beach, 5 miles apart, still didn't see them. And I said, well, okay, that's good. And I mean, there's no scenario, just the same time that's going on. Well, my mother's in a rehab center, she's like 93 years old, and then Dad went up there and see her on her birthday, and then we went to have a birthday party with her. And when they got back from the beach, I think it was on a Monday, they went to see her, and Chris told me, said that he wanted to come see us before he left, because he hadn't even seen us all that we'd been down there. He'd been with them. So I went to pick them up, and at the rehab center, where my mother was staying at all of them already left. They left them there for me to go pick up. So, you know, out in the house, had a couple of beers, go down some steaks and stuff. My daughter come over, and my son-in-law, my other grandkids come over and stuff. And about 8:30, 9 o'clock, I said, well, we'll just text her, just bring her back in the morning, you know, it's too late to be running all back up something kind of now. He texted her, no, you know, I just like, I'm gonna get your ass right now. You ain't staying there. So 9:30, 10 o'clock at night, I had to take him back so time, because she demanded it has to be back there. She said, I need the help getting stuff ready to go back on the trip. And this is only 9:30, 10 o'clock at night. What are you gonna do that night that you can't do the next morning when a flight don't leave at 7 o'clock that night, the next night?
Well, so the question I was just gonna ask is, so when she went back to her parents' house, did Chris stay with you guys? Or did he go with her back to that?
No, the only time Chris was down there was last week.
Oh, so this was prior to that?
Yeah.
Prior to last week?
That was the last week, which we said, well, we lost our son again, because the whole time that, when that last thing happened, we didn't have no contact with either one of them for the next, 3 or 4 weeks, whatever it was, till he come down.
And then when he came down, did they come visit again at your house?
No, she wouldn't come down. She wouldn't come down, she wouldn't let the kids in our house.
And did Chris stay with you guys for that week? Or he went there?
He went to stay with her parents,
Okay.
so that's what she wanted.
Yeah. So do you think that she has a controlling personality?
Very, very controlling.
Okay.
And my wife said she's like a narcissist, and something else she called her. She got, I can't remember the other name, but she uses sometimes. That's what she says, she has a narcissist personality, what she said. Sometimes I think she's bipolar. He says she goes from 0 to 100 in 2 seconds. I mean, it's totally.
Would you say she's volatile, or she can get angry quickly?
Well, I have never seen that side of her, but every time I seen her with my wife, my wife said she was screaming at her. Screaming, and said, you kind of killed my dad, Carl. I said, my dad. I said, you actually believe that? He said, no, I mean, you see the videos of them, I mean, she loves the kids. She never do nothing hurt one of the kids.
Okay. Did you ever see her and Chris fight? They ever yelling and screaming at each other, or no? Okay.
Anytime we visited or FaceTime, and that's the first time they've been out in North Carolina in years.
Mm-hmm.
Every time they come up here, and a lot cheaper for us to come up here than all of them to come out here.
Sure. Any indication of violence between them? Anybody, did she ever hit him? Did he ever hit her? Any kind of, anywhere it got physical?
I've never known Chris to be pistol at all, besides when he played football back when he was in Pee Wee League. So he was a little linebacker back then.
Yeah. Okay. And then, so when he comes and he visits, he winds up staying up with them, and you guys don't see each other for that last week, but do you see Chris?
We see Chris that last night before we left.
Last night. Okay. Does he come with the kids, or just by himself?
By himself. So she won't let the kids come over. That's when they said they went to see my mother, which is in a rehab center, which is like 7 or 8 miles from my house. Because he said he wanted to see us, and he was for 11. But he got to see us all that time. We went down there.
Gotcha. So then, do they fly back to Colorado together?
Yeah.
Okay. And do you think that's around the 9th or 10th, something like that?
Somewhere in there, because she flew out. Because I think he went back to work on that Wednesday and Thursday. No, I think she flew out on Friday, if I'm mistaken. And come back that Monday, like 1 or 2 o'clock
back here, you think she's here for a day or two, and then she goes on that trip to Arizona?
Yeah.
And she didn't take the kids with her on that trip?
Right, no, she'll never take kids with her.
And then, so Chrissy working, is there a babysitter or somebody else? Do you
Been
have
out there in the daycare.
daycare?
Like I said, and she takes them there about 7:30 o'clock in the morning. He picks them up on the way home from work. So she really don't have those.
Okay. So she drops them off, and then he typically picks them up?
Picks them up on his way home.
Okay.
I guess probably sometimes she picks them up too, I reckon, but those I don't think he picks them up. I'm not saying that's the way the routine is all the time, I just know that's.
Yeah.
That's basically how it works.
Sure. And we're trying to go over every detail of everything that they do, and just see what the routine is, so, you know, okay. All right, so she. And then, you know what hours he works typically at the,
I don't think he said, he goes in about 5:30 in the morning. And most times, when we FaceTime at our house, it's between 6, 7, so it's around 5 something, he gets all my things.
he's working on this, okay.
I think between 4 or 5 do, sites yet do that day.
Okay.
And they might be earlier than that, but that's the only we always try to FaceTime them by the time they eat dinner, that's when the kids are sitting there going through something like this.
And so when they got back, and then from the time they got back to Colorado, did you speak to him at all during that time? Or did you speak to him that first time on Monday, when he called him to say?
I can't remember when I talked to him since then. I probably been on the phone, but probably had somebody on there, probably deleted a lot of them.
Yeah, it could be text messages, phone call.
I'm pretty sure I did, because he had told us before he left, that day he did come over and he said, he said it's not working. He said, I don't love her anymore, he said, it's just not there, he said, he does the kids to death, but he said, he was just done with her.
So he knew that by the time he was about to leave to go
Yeah,
back to Colorado?
and she knew it too.
She knew it too?
He already told her about it.
So had they,
He said they were going to, he said Colorado's on the 50-50 state or whatever, and as far as husband and wife, he said, and if I'm mistaken, he said that she was the one that put the house on the market already. So
was the house for sale?
He said he wanted to go ahead and sell it. I think he said he wanted to go ahead and get a separation, put the house up for sale.
Okay.
And I don't know who told me that deal. Well, of course, Chris said the one taking on to sell it, the house market around here anyway. I don't remember who told me that she went ahead and put it on the market.
Okay.
And we could, Chris ain't got time, at the time, hours he working stuff, he ain't got time to watch it.
We'll figure that out, but, so they pretty much, and so she knew too, she wanted divorce as well, and separation with that, but
I don't know how that was working, but that takes us, when she sent the picture of the sonogram, and that was about the same time Chris told her, and said, it ain't working. And that's when she was trying to get back in our lives. Kind of make up for all the shit she's done, I guess, over the years, whatever, I don't know. I guess that was a reach out to us, more or less the way I looked at it, trying to make everything all hunky-dory now again. Maybe she was thinking maybe Chris would change his mind or something or whatever, and she was talking out of it or whatever, I don't know what her point behind that was. But that's when, I'm pretty sure that's where that text come from, when he told her that he wanted a separation.
And then what was the date on that again, the text?
It was, that's what I'm trying to find, but the date's not on there. Oh, it says on Thursday. I think that was when they got back to Colorado. But yes, it says we got sonogram when she got back to Colorado. Because I was gonna do it.
Let's see, so that would have been
Last Thursday.
last Thursday, the 8th, I think?
I don't think so.
Okay, today's the 15th.
Yeah.
It would be about the 8th.
That's when I think she was trying to reach out, when the sheriff sent me a picture of the baby.
Mm-hmm.
see in 5 weeks now, also 6 weeks now, all of a sudden you want to talk.
All right. So, and then had he decided, had Chris decided, 100%? Was it something like where he was saying, thinking about the separation?
Type deal?
Yeah.
I don't think so, because, I think he pretty much made up his mind.
A tough situation.
It wasn't working, he didn't see it getting any better.
Okay. And then has she ever, disappeared before? Has she ever said, I'm taking the kids and going to a friend's house, or said, I'm gonna go stay at my friend's house by myself for the night? You aware of anything like that?
I'm not aware of it, no, right now.
Okay. Okay. And then how about him? Has it ever got bad where he's like, hey, I'm just gonna go spend the night someplace else, or I gotta get away from you guys, go to a hotel?
I'm not aware of it.
Nothing like that. Okay. All right. So they've never had a situation in the house where one of them had to leave.
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay. And then as far as police, ever mentioned, Christopher mentioned police coming to the house, domestic violence, any kind of, nothing. All right, so it's never gotten that bad. But they just, for whatever reason.
He didn't love her anymore. It just wasn't working. You like to think about the new baby here and stuff. My wife, they said, if she was pregnant, said you might just have to tough it out and then go have the baby and help her out with that. So, but like I said, she said it was his idea. He said totally it was her idea on another child.
And then any, anything on either side where, they're fighting about how that would work. If they do separate, who's going to stay in the house, who's going to have to move out, or,
Well, like I said, they said that more or less, it was a 50-50 state that's going to sell the house. And more or less, they pay child support and give it a separate lease. But I don't know, it's still up in the air about, visitation and all that. They ain't got that far yet. He just told me he wanted to go and file for separation. I don't think, was it 90 days or what was it? And thought about it. I don't know if I think it's a year.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that actually. So
Sure.
I don't know what the state law is on that.
It's either 90 days or 9 months. I'm not sure which one it is. Something like that. Chris had told me about what it was.
Okay.
But he more or less, it wasn't gonna work. He didn't see it was gonna be changing anything. And it would go back to, and he said when he come down, when she was in North Carolina, when he come down, she said, Chris, will you change? I said, no. He said, I haven't changed. I just realized I'm just alone at the house when you're there and you're not there. I said, there's no difference. So that's more or less how he broke it down.
Yeah. Okay. And then when he called you on Monday to let you know that something's wrong, don't know where they are and the whole thing, so can you tell me about that? What was he thinking at that time? What was he?
Well, no, he said, no, it was upset, big time, upset. He said, no, he said, he's not the one that the hell's going on. He said, you don't know if she took the kids and left, but he said, the car's here, their phone's here. He said, another make me damn sick there. I don't know what the hell's going on. Unless he said somebody was going to pick her up. But there's no evidence of nothing. Like I said, they left her car there, and the phone, and her purse. So he said, none of it makes a bad sense. And all the doors were seen when he got there, and I guess the police had come for a wellness check or whatever. And he said, all the damn doors were locked. So he said, she left on her own. Went out the door, locked the door behind her. Well, the door would automatically lock anyway, but still.
And he didn't mention anything about any problem at the house or anything like that. There's nothing. There was a broken window. There was
He said,
kicked in door.
He said he didn't see nothing. I guess when the police got there, they looked around too. They didn't see anything. But he said, I said, I asked him, so what happened earlier in the day? He said, he told me, what, that discussion, the thought they had that morning, they told him to go ahead and file separation and stuff. And everything, and he said, he was going to go to work. She said, I'm going to go stay with a friend.
Also, she said she was going to
She told him, I'm going to go stay with a friend, but didn't say who.
Didn't say. Okay.
But she just got back from that trip with them two, Nicole and somebody else, I don't know what those names was.
Okay.
But that's what he told her. She told him that, she was gonna go stay with a friend.
Any idea who that would be? Like, who's closest to her?
I have no idea. She's got so many damn followers. I mean, she's got
A lot of Facebook friends.
hundreds,
Okay.
hundreds. I mean, and a lot of them around here. And that girl that, did the wellness visits, that was one of them. They just got back from, where it was Arizona, I think it was Arizona, they went to that LaBelle thing. That was, I guess she lives around here somewhere, because she's not seen her on the news podcast for an interview in front of the house.
Yes, ma'am. Oh, so she went on that business trip to Arizona with her? Do you know who that is?
With that woman's name, Nicole something, and Columbia. I don't know if you've seen any news feeds or what, but she was one of them that was talking to the press outside Crystal House.
Yeah, and I actually haven't seen any of that stuff yet.
That's why I'm going to catch a fish. That boat.
There you go.
That's her right there.
Okay. That's, Nicole? That's Nicole?
Yeah.
Okay. We don't know her last name. Is that her last name?
Yeah.
Not my glasses. What's that last name?
U-T-O-F-T.
U-T-O-F-T.
That's like hell of that name.
Yeah, Utah. Sorry, my glasses. U-T-O-F-T.
That's right.
Okay. So that's the friend she went on the trip with to Arizona.
Well, there's some, well, there's a bunch of people there, put it that way, you know what I'm saying?
Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure if we've spoken to her yet or not, but we're trying to speak to everybody.
There's some pictures of her and a whole group of other people, maybe dinners and stuff, and I can't get on to it now. I can put a picture of it, until that's on there.
Yeah, no problem. So, and then he spoke to you, and you think it was about 4:30, right, on Monday?
Been about first time, because I just got home from work, I think I was eating, so when I get home, I'm about 6:30. But it's about between 4:30 and 5 here, somewhere in that neighborhood.
And that's fine, it's all approximate. And so he spoke to you, essentially said, don't know where she is, nothing's missing, the house isn't broken, and nothing like that.
He said,
Just don't know where.
he said, exactly, I'm not, you know, I haven't no clue what she's married. I said, the kids are gone, she's gone.
Do you know, so the kids normally, it was a Monday, so the kids normally go to daycare, I assume?
I don't know, I've seen some posts sometimes where she'll take Cece the day to the school, and sometimes take Bella with her on like a afternoon playtime, take her to a park or out to eat lunch type things and stuff like that, and go back and pick up Cece later. She won't take both of them at the same time.
Okay. But did Chris mention to you whether or not the kids got to daycare, whether they were there or not?
That day, on Monday?
Yeah, on Monday?
No, so,
Because I'm just wondering, so if they're not home well, actually, I don't know what time he gets home, but I'm just wondering did he mention
well, that,
them going to daycare?
well, that day, I don't think they ever went because, so when he called me that night, he said that girl was gone. If I'm mistaken, what he had said, that Nicole girl was supposed to hook up with this man that day. They just got back, 2 o'clock in the morning from Arizona, where it was. And so then they're supposed to have a doctor's appointment that day also. And she didn't show the doctor's appointment. That's when she went over there for a knock on the door, and get away answer the door. That's when she called the police for a witness check. And that's what she said on the news broadcast.
Okay. But did he mention that? Did Chris tell you that? That she had a doctor's appointment?
No.
Or you just saw it?
Not so.
Okay. I just don't want to write anything.
Oh,
Because
No.
Yeah, no. Okay, yeah. So I'm just wondering what he had mentioned. So did he know if she made the doctor's appointment? Or that didn't even come up?
That didn't come up.
And did he know if the kids went to daycare?
That was never probably never wrong. So evidently, whatever time she went over there to check on Cheyenne, and that's the wellness check, I guess they had to call Chris to come home and they open doors and let them, look around and stuff, which he says, and they did, look around, and find nothing. And come back a few hours later with a warrant, search warrant to search the house. Yeah. So that's basically all he told me that one night, and she, he was visually upset big time. He said we had no clue what it was at, what the hell happened. He was going up.
Just didn't know. Okay. And that was the call on Monday.
Yeah.
And then, was there another phone call? Did he call or, and actually, I mean, that was a phone call, that was a text or anything, or email, that was a phone call. Were there any other ones between now and then, where you guys spoke on the phone, or he texted you, or emailed you, or anything like that?
Just more or less tell me what was going on about the news crew being out there and all this stuff, and then still come back looking at the house, and was it yesterday they did. Didn't come back in yesterday, did something, I forgot what it was.
But you guys, have you been in touch on a regular?
Oh, no,
You
yeah.
probably talked more than once, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Anything by email or text, or just all phone calls?
Most of them was phone calls, and I told them, just to call me when we got a chance, people were blowing up this phone and putting plates, and then the news crews out there and all that shit, and I said, how are you surviving? I'm like,
Right. They gotta be parked outside the house, I'm sure. Okay. So you talked to several times, a bunch of times between Monday and then you flew in this morning.
Yeah.
And actually, what time did you get in today?
We were at about 9:15, 9:20 when I landed at the airport.
Okay.
And that's when he basically called Chris and asked me to stop by here. We was on the way back from the airport, went back.
Okay. Did he come pick you up? I did. You didn't have me pick up.
Well, I wasn't gonna get an Uber, but he texted me, once I turned my phone back off, airplane mode, he texted me, said, if I know when you land, I'll come pick you up.
And so how do you see him on the ride? How's he doing? Is he hanging in there, or?
And he's hanging in there, but he just stood on under questions on what the hell was going on there. He said, I don't know if she done something. Just like I asked him, I said, they still building houses back there behind you, apartments, where he lived at. And last time I came out, I had to keep building behind him there. And I said, are they still doing construction work? And he said, yeah. I said, you don't think when the construction building snatched her or something? So I said, I'm just thinking all different scenarios. I'm like, that.
Well, that's what you gotta do, think about any possibility. Does he have any idea, anything that he thought to you saying, hey, maybe this happened, or, did he see anybody suspicious around the house? Did he have a confrontation with anybody, any problem with a coworker? Because I guess he's a low-key guy.
He's very calm, cool-blooded, and I like me. I mean, things like get me pissed off.
Yeah.
Let him do it.
Yeah. So he's not a guy who's getting into confrontations, not that much. He didn't mention any enemies or anything, anybody who's got a beef with him, or any reason why somebody would want to get at him or get at the family, or nothing. So no threats, no. Okay. No problems. And from what? Yeah. I'm a scribble guy, so I just scribble all over the place, but I have it up here.
Yeah.
I remember.
I try to have a pretty good memory, but I've been in the parts business for 30-something years, so the numbers and everything else stay in my head.
And this is a general interview. We're just trying to get a baseline. And you never know what can help.
Yeah.
Because if everybody remembers a little something, who knows?
I love it. I love grandbabies to death. I love her too. But we got along good, for a few days each time. And it seemed like there's always something come up there. It's like she's all about what she wants when she wants it. And I kind of put her down or nothing like that. That's just like her personality is.
Well, and for us, it's important to know who we're dealing with, right? If we're looking for somebody, what they might have done, where they might have gone. Mm-hmm. Is there anything, do you think, from your knowledge of her, do you think she's the type of person who hurt herself or hurt her children?
I would say the kids, no.
No.
When it comes down to herself, that I don't know. But to them kids, I don't think she would I know, I profiled her, she's not doing a whole lot with the kids, but she loves the kids. And just like Chris loves her, I love the kids, my wife, everybody loves them. But as far as her goes up to herself, I wouldn't say yea or nay. I mean, you never know what somebody gets mad.
Any health problems? Either physical or mental?
Not to my knowledge, she supposed to have lupus years ago, but that's more or less under control, and she had something on her spine done not too long ago.
Not sure what that is.
No, some deterioration of some vertebrae or something. She had to get done not too long ago.
Any mental issue, you're aware of her going to a psychiatrist, psychologist, any kind of...
No, I was told about that.
And any counseling that you were aware of? They ever two of them ever try to go to counseling to work out?
Something to tell Dad sometimes, I don't.
That's true. That's true. I know I don't tell my parents everything. All right. And anything else you can think of that might be useful? Is any friends that they ever talked about, or any anybody who they interact with? I mean,
Yes, but she got a bunch of friends that way, and they would have these little parties and meetings sometimes at their house and stuff. But Christopher got some of his friends. I mean, like he said, he stayed with friends of his last night, but he had like going back to the house and all the stuff going on over there and stuff. So he stayed with them last night.
and were those, is those his closest friends, or who would be?
I don't really know what his closest friends around here are, but I ain't really met many of them when we come down. Most of the time when we come down, we go out to the zoo and stuff like this, and all kind of everything else around here, and splash pads and stuff like that. We really met his friends that much here.
Did he, does Chris, because I know she's got thousands of friends on Facebook, but does Chris ever, is he on Facebook? Does he do that?
He was. He just recently deleted he's tired of hearing all the posts about negative shit. So.
Okay. And is he a social guy? Does he have a lot of friends, or?
He has not that many. He has a few. I mean, he gets on with anything, not like I do. They take me out as I am.
But he's not a big social media guy, or friends and parties. And
I don't know. Like when she was gone, like you said, he went to the drag races here in town, NHRA. About him there, which he ain't went to in years. Like me and him used to go races all the time back when he was young and stuff. I did NASCAR races, drag races and stuff, and he'd done that in years. He did that. He said, I missed that. I ain't done that in long.
Yeah, so he probably got some break, just being by himself.
And then a couple of buddies from work went out and drag racing on that one Saturday and come back home.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, was that this Saturday?
No, that was
last
weeks ago.
Okay. Yeah. And then nobody else you can think of. I mean, he never said to your dad, this guy at work is pain in the neck, or this neighbor of mine does strange stuff, or
None of them said somebody made the dog one time with a
Okay. And then at the construction, I want to ask you again about that. So there's construction going on behind the house.
Yeah.
Did you see anybody like?
Well, I just walked out to him on the way back from the airport.
Oh, you were, okay. He didn't mention
No,
anything.
he didn't. I mentioned that to him. I said that they still like walk around people when they come little crews come and go. You got electricians over here, plumbers over here, plumbers over here, and they work 2 or 3 jobs and poof, they're gone. So I'm just throwing that out there. I said, I don't think about it, different scenarios what could happen.
Right.
I just throw that out there. I said, heard the kids might have been in the backyard, and I mean, there's plenty of people around there, but depending on what time of day it was and stuff too. So.
Yeah. But so nothing suspicious though. That you get everywhere. Okay. Yeah, and obviously Chris is, they're talking to him. And we're talking to everybody. If anybody saw anything suspicious, hopefully that'll come off. But okay.
But I did mention something. Chris mentioned something to me that they, on the way back, that there was a debit or credit thing on one of her credit cards for that same day they got back for a taxi or a limo. So she said he called the bank to issue transactions. And she used a credit card for a taxi or a limo on that same day.
On Monday?
On Monday.
Huh? Do you know what time that was?
I don't know, that's what I was trying to find out. I said, you know what time it was and everything? He says, no, he said it was just a transaction. He thought y'all might have knew about that already.
Yeah, and they probably,
They might, but
we had so many people working on this that.
I said, well, that's, the limo, all the girls took back, I think there's 3 girls from around here, and I said, was that limo the girls took back from the airport, go back home? And I said, there's 3 different people, 3 different places. But on the news broadcast one day, she said, she brought Shanann home between 1 and 2 o'clock in the morning when she dropped her off.
And who's that? Who worked?
Nicole.
Nicole brought her home. Okay.
That's what the news broadcast said.
So Nicole went with her to Arizona. Yeah. So Nicole must have parked the car or something.
Yeah, but I asked Chris said, yeah, Nicole's car was at the airport. So I said, well, if the car was at the airport, why didn't even a damn taxi or a limo taxi?
Yeah. But and does he think that's what the charge was? Is that they took a taxi home from?
That's what he said. Well, he didn't know. He didn't know what time it was. All of a sudden, it was a transaction for either a taxi or a limo taxi for that date, but he didn't know what time it was or anything else.
Okay. And they couldn't tell him that the taxi came, what time?
They don't know. It's something with the credit card thing.
All right. We'll find out. Just about that.
Just thought I'd put it out there.
Everything matters.
I'm just trying to think of things.
If they got a car and they went somewhere, obviously we want to know that.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and did he mention anything about any neighbors or anything? Any neighbors? Because I'm assuming he probably talked to his neighbors.
Yeah, well,
Anybody?
everybody got everyone have windows and shit.
Yeah, well, for sure.
Yeah,
But they didn't see anything or hear anything or?
Not to my knowledge. He said they haven't seen nothing, but it depends on what time of the day it was, you know. They probably was going to work and stuff and everything else, so.
Okay. Okay. Anything else you can think of? Any,
I'm thinking.
well, it's just, Chris, does he have any brothers or sisters?
Yeah, so.
Sister, are they close at all? Or do you reaching out?
They're kind of close to me, they talk quite a bit here recently. That's my daughter, Jamie.
Jen?
Yeah. She lives in Parkins, about 20 miles, 30 miles from my house.
In North Carolina.
Yeah.
Okay. Just in case we need to reach out to her.
Yeah, she's in Good Morning America called her yesterday.
Who did?
Good Morning America called my daughter yesterday. One of them comes, Jamie says, excuse me, I'm not.
That's the thing, the news will be all over this.
Yeah.
Like on national news, anytime somebody goes missing, it's just, Okay. And then, is there any relatives of yours here in Colorado? When Chris was at, there's no cousins, there's no distant relatives, nothing. And do you know if I was gonna say her mom, say Shannon, but it's Shanann. Yeah, you're used to that. So Shanann, do you know if she has any relatives here?
Not no knowledge, no. No, just like whenever he moved out here, got some friends of hers was out here or something. And I don't remember exactly the reason they moved out here to begin with, but when they first moved out there, he worked at a Ford dealership, and she was working a couple different jobs, hot jobs and stuff. That's the second house they had. They had another house before they got that one.
Second house?
Yeah. And if I memory serves me right, and I could be wrong.
Okay. No problem. And do you know why they moved to Frederick? Any particular reason? Was it close to work or was
I'm not sure how far his work is from here out, because when he was working at the Ford dealership, he was working, what's that, trying to remember that in town where he was working at. There wasn't just a Ford dealership out here, there was another one, Longmont, that's where he lived every day.
Okay. Yeah, that's a pretty close commute. Yeah. But there was nothing special about Frederick. It wasn't that, they had some friend here or some relative. No. Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, I can't think of anything else unless there's something else that pops up that you think that might be useful. I mean, they're gonna, you know what we're gonna do. We're gonna search everything and talk to everybody. Yeah. So, and obviously the whole country's aware of it. It's national news. But yeah, we'll do everything we can and see where things lead us. So, if you do think of anything else, let us know. I'm gonna be, so we're sort of a joint team of investigators here. We have, of course, Frederick PD, we have state CBI, actually FBI, so we have FBI as well. And so we have a whole group of investigators who are working on this. And we will be until we resolve it.
There's gotta be an answer somewhere.
Well, that's it. I mean,
But no, I hate to say that my wife watched a lot of ID Discovery.
yeah, my wife too.
And she did, I said, no, you're not coming. I said, you're too much of a freak. You'll have them climb the wall of ID Discovery. She goes,
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's a tough situation.
Yeah.
With these things, you can't make any assumptions. You
not,
just gotta,
not anything.
yeah.
You get everything in black and white. You know?
Yeah. Well, I got a feeling Chris will probably gonna be here for a while because talking to him is gonna be from the day he was born. Or, so it's probably gonna be a long day for you. I apologize in advance, but we gotta get every single detail we can. And then, of course, we'll be at this, round the clock.
Yeah.
So, I don't know what can make you most comfortable. You have his vehicle?
Yeah.
You have access to that if you need it? You have keys? Okay. And then obviously, I don't know how much there is to do with Frederick, or if you want to go get lunch, or whatever you want to do.
Walk up out the street, find something to eat.
That's what I say. I'm sure.
I just gonna plug my phone up and start or something.
Okay. All right.
You gonna be around?
Yeah, I'm gonna be around. We'll be in there. Mark.
Yeah. And that's Chris's best friend from way back when they was Mark.
Easy to remember. Okay.
That's good.
Well, I mean, Graham here too, one of us will try to keep in touch with you. Again, we got a room full of investigators. We have all sorts of people out on the road, running down the lead, speaking to people, I mean, as you can imagine, right?
I know y'all said y'all had leads, so you can't say nothing about, I know that.
To be perfectly honest with you, I didn't even know about this until early this morning.
Oh.
So basically, we call in bodies. I mean, if we need to, we can call in 100 more investigators.
Yeah.
So we call in everybody who we, need. So I got a phone call this morning saying, come down to Frederick PD. So I'm behind the curve as far as what's going on.
Catch up.
Yeah. So I'm just here, you walked in, hey, I can talk to you, So, if we get any information, we're gonna let you know. And you're right here at the police department, so. Yeah, so just if you wanna make yourself as comfortable as you can.
I'm gonna get a glass of water and some syrup.
Those are things you need to do.
Exactly. Lock us in.
That would be a first.
That would be a slight car from outside, wouldn't it?
What's that? No. What the heck?
It's like a flat nation from outside.
This would be the first, yeah, let's see. These ain't gonna do it.
Okay, so that's never mind. No.
Well, I don't know if they see this. Oh. There we go.
Right there you go.
All right, thank you, sir. Okay. Yeah.
This is a black hole in the sun section, isn't it? Everybody's back is good. Is it over? Well, I think it's been covered. Oh, here, I got this one off. Or, I don't, but it was coming off. Dang. Oh, Mary, they really don't want anybody to work in here. There you go.
Ronnie, I don't think I have your information. Would you mind, do you have a driver's license with you or something like that?
Just in the bag.
What's that?
Wallet and stuff in the bag in the truck.
Oh, really? What's your legal name?
Ronnie.
Is that Ronald or anything like that?
Ronnie.
Uh-huh.
Lee.
Uh-huh.
Watts, W-A-T-T-S.
Okay, and your birthday, Ronnie?
1456.
And what's your home address?
1107 Bass, B-A-S-S Road.
VASS?
Yeah.
Okay.
In Spring Lake, North Carolina.
What is Spring Lake near?
Fort Bragg.
I was just in North Carolina 3 days ago.
I was there this morning.
All right, and phone number for you, sir?
910-578-3408.
All right. Well, I appreciate you taking the time to sit down with us. I know you've been here most of the day today and had a shocking day and everything like that.
Straight from the airport here.
Yeah. Here's my information. My name's Kellen Hoffman. I'm an agent for Colorado Bureau of Investigation. And we're basically here assisting the Frederick Police Department with this case. Just, doing whatever we can to pitch in.
Here's my card as well.
So we just wanted to sit down with you and kind of, get any information that you had. I know this has been a shocking day and, definitely not, like you just said, not something you expected to have happen when you got on the airplane this morning or anything like that. So,
No, she was up for some of her shenanigans again. I figured she just, whatever, anyway, go ahead.
can you kind of just give us a little bit of a background on their relationship and how long you had known her and just kind of some background information?
Yeah, they're what, 7 or 8 years as far as dating and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Got married about 5 years ago, I think it was, 5 or 6 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And as far as their relationship, it was fine. And then us, me and my wife, most of my wife's had a hard time getting on with her, but she's, all I call it, narcissist. Personality is what she thinks she is. And bipolar also. That's just the way she was. And when Chris told me a while back, he said, she told him if you ever cheat on me or whatever, he said, I'll turn it on you tenfold. Like that. So I don't know if that had anything to do with what happened today.
Did they meet out in North Carolina?
Yeah.
Okay.
And they moved to Charlotte for a while, a couple of years. And then they decided to move out here for some reason. They have no relatives, no nothing out here.
So there's no ties out here?
There's some friends she had that was out here.
Okay.
So
When was that?
we got married in Charlotte. It's about 3 or 4 years ago, probably.
Okay. And then they moved here after getting married in Charlotte?
Yeah.
What did they do when they first got here?
Well, in Charlotte, he went to NASCAR tech. That's when he left home when he was 18. When he graduated high school, he went to NASCAR tech and stuff. Then they met, and he was working at a Ford dealership up there.
Mm-hmm.
What she was doing at the time, I really couldn't tell you right then. But then they moved out here. He went to work at a Ford dealership as a technician.
Mm-hmm.
He got hired on in the oil fields.
Mm-hmm.
And she was working odd jobs off and on, doing different things. And actually, when he was working at Longmont Ford down the road here, he was, she was selling cars up there at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
They both worked at the same place, but she was a good salesman.
Yeah.
About that. She did.
Did they have any money issues?
Not to my knowledge.
I never talked about anything like that.
He said they didn't need that big ass house they was in because they didn't need all that stuff. But I think she's doing now selling the fly, label stuff, whatever. Because that's what they, I knew he made pretty good money in the oil field stuff. I said, I think she's like top 30 or 35 in the company.
Mm-hmm.
I said, well, he said she's more or less pretty much making what he was making. So, that was over the last couple of years. I mean, she built it up really. Like I said, she's a seller.
And how much contact did you have with them? Did you see them?
A couple times a year, because we'd fly out here to see the grandkids and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And my wife came here when Cece was born and helped with that and stuff. And they were down. She came to North Carolina like 6 weeks ago, 6, 7 weeks ago, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then he was coming the last week of the vacation thing.
Mm-hmm.
And her and my wife had fallen out twice. Because her parents live about 30, 40 miles from us.
Okay.
So they,
Where do they live at?
Aberdeen sometimes. Right in my Pine Horse golf course.
Mm-hmm.
She was just hard to get along with them. She was down with us for a few days and stayed with them for a few days and stuff. And so I bought a trampoline for kids to open up the pool and all this stuff, and no TV and everything, so they'd have, things to play with and everything while we were there.
Mm-hmm.
And the first time she came over, I mean, they got home 3 or 4 days on the last day. She told her that morning, she said, well, I got to go get my hair done. My next door neighbor and I get some flyers for him and stuff and come by where I work at. It's a super dealership.
Mm-hmm.
Signs paperwork on the car was buying.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, we're going to take you back home now, or you can wait this afternoon. No, wait this afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, okay. So she got her hair done and stuff. We got flyers, showed them my place, and realized she got her phone at the hairdresser.
Mm-hmm.
So my daughter was getting done the same place, so she went to get it and bring it up to my work. And by that time she texted me. I didn't know where to send me that. My wife, that's my person's surname. And so she's got here signing paperwork. She said, well, I've been here 5 hours with these kids by myself. This year I said, well, you're a good kid, Type deal. She wanted us to have my wife in tears in the finance office.
Mm-hmm.
Fussing at her because she wasn't there, take care of the kids.
Yeah.
So she wound up going home that night, her daddy come got her, she was all pissed off about that. And Chris called him and said, my wife asked him, what are you gonna do, Chris? He said, just let it go. I mean, he said, you don't wanna hear her mouth when she gets back, he said, not good.
Mm-hmm.
And then the second time she come to see us, CC had nut allergies. Before she can any type of tree nuts, so what it is. And I got two other grandkids, Dalton and Dylan, live there, about 20 miles from us. They're 10 and 7, and CC and Bella was 4 and 3.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, they all got playing together, had fun in the pool and stuff, all that stuff. And, my other grandchild went there and get some ice cream up there.
Mm-hmm.
And which ice cream had been in there all week, up at a higher level, which some of them had nuts in it, so we needed to keep it up there. And this one little single serving thing is type deal.
Yeah.
And my other granddaughter got one. And CC started crying and stuff, and she went all over saying, it wasn't fair that one could have it, the other one couldn't have it type deal, and all this type of stuff. And she went stomping off, and I went there, she went, you're just trying to kill my child. Told to my wife she was trying to kill my child.
Mm-hmm.
And my wife said, man, you really think I'm trying to hurt one of your children type deal and stuff? And she ended up leaving and not coming back for the next 4 weeks. We didn't have no contact with her, kept two grandkids, and nothing else.
Okay.
And that was, what, 5 or 6 weeks ago, type deal. But she was just, like my son was telling me, said she has these mood swings and stuff, and she just said I don't realize how unstable she was.
Who said that?
My son did.
What did he say that?
That was one of his told me that's, a few days ago, whatever. Yeah, that's the way she is. She just bipolar, 0 to 16, no time.
And when did you first start hearing about that?
Well, I've seen that before, just like that with the ice cream deal, and then she was fine, and all of a sudden come back screaming at my wife, just trying to kill my child and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I mean, just a little thing like that, really nothing.
So, with that in mind, how was their relationship in your opinion?
Well, my son told me a few weeks ago, he said he just didn't love her anymore. And he told her that he wanted to go, but he was going to tell her he wanted to get a separation, which he did that before they come back from the beach this last time. When I was down there, we was at Myrtle Beach, there was at North Myrtle Beach, 5 miles apart, and still thinks of kids.
Yeah.
That deal, when I was a kid.
When did he tell you that he didn't love her anymore? Said it was a few weeks ago?
Yeah.
Do you remember?
Well, he said he should have done this a long time ago, but he said it just wasn't working, and just like her being pregnant, she said it was all Christopher's idea, getting pregnant again. And Christopher said it was all her idea.
Did Chris want another child?
No, he always wanted a son, but
Did they know the gender?
Not yet.
No.
Well, she was sending me a sonogram, it's been 4 weeks. That was down here, right after Chris seen me with it, she sent a picture. That was right before they went back to Colorado, went back up here, put it that way. Sent a picture of sonogram, she just wanted to share a new picture of a new baby. And we hadn't talked to her in 4 weeks. And all of a sudden, boom, sends a picture of a sonogram, which they had done when we got back here.
Did Chris mention anything about his girlfriend?
Not till today.
No.
I have no clue.
What can you tell us about Chris just as a person, growing up and raising him and
He was, well, as a student always through school and everything. He loved sports and everything. He played football, baseball all the way through junior high and front of high school and stuff. He was one kind of child, really. I mean, never had a problem, no nothing, no problem with drugs, no nothing.
Did he exhibit any signs of mental health issues? Was he ever depressed? Was he ever medications for anything like that?
Not to my knowledge.
Did you ever get the impression that he was maybe depressed or anything like that and should be on meds, or was it not? So pretty healthy?
Yeah, he was what you look at him now, healthy. Well, that's another thing. Way back when they first got together, her ex-husband, or whoever she was married to before, was kind of big, bulky type dude. And she more or less wanted Chris to look like him. I mean, I don't know what the purpose behind that was, I have no clue whatever, but, I mean, she went from one extreme to the next, and next thing she wanted to lose weight and get skinny like that. Just, she was kind of out there, big them.
Chris had mentioned to Graham, I believe, that he had lost a lot of weight recently.
Yeah, because he was looking at me, and we'd FaceTime with him a lot and stuff till those in the last month or so, whatever. And he'd be out and running, running and lifting weights and stuff. I mean, way back when, he used to lift weights all the time when he was in school and stuff like that. He was pretty well cut by then.
Did he mention anything about how he was feeling? Like, was he feeling happy? Was he feeling better about himself? Did he have more confidence? Or was he doing it for any particular reason?
I figured it was something she was doing, wanting him to get fit for that trial stuff. Finally, they just pushed out a new thing of weight loss patches and stuff. So I figured he was just doing that to satisfy her for their images, because she was all about images.
You don't think he wanted to be putting all that time and effort towards getting in shape and so forth?
No, but he always liked to stay in shape. But from day one, I remember back in, he was like 7 years old, he was playing, moved up to tackle football, and had a weight limit, had to weigh in for every game. And the first game, he was 5 pounds over. So then he come home with a trash bag on, on treadmill, and never missed weight again. But that type of person is, I mean, he's dedicated, do whatever it takes. There's a little post that I seen on Facebook the other day. That was, all these days and stuff, it was all screwed up. It was one day last week or this week, which I can't, most of her stuff's blocked now, as far as on her stuff. Bella sees he had these balls down about this tall, about 3-4 foot tall, whatever. We got like the name on where it's one of them frozen people, whatever type deal. And had it laying on one of the couches with a sheet over it, from the head to the toes, saying that the girls did that. And I've been around enough and played with them enough up there and FaceTime enough, they'd get the babies out and lay them on the floor, pillow on there and cover them up. But it's about a waste of time. Lay there and cover their heads up, like the dead person type deal.
Yeah, I saw the photo that you're referring to.
I said, I didn't know that. Where did that come from?
With Chris, you guys had gone there for a little bit, talked, it was recorded.
Yeah.
I don't think we mentioned, but this should also be recorded, which I think you probably assumed already. But he mentioned that he saw her doing some stuff to the kids, and he snapped.
Well, he said, well, they had that argument or discussion, whatever, that morning, and he's going ahead and leaving work. He went downstairs and just getting stuff, lunch together, whatever and stuff, and he got some commotion upstairs, nothing about it, and he got the baby monitor sitting on this time it was on the bar, right there in the kitchen. And he looked at it, and he seen Shanann on top of Cece, choking her. That's when he ran back upstairs and lost it. By the time we got up there, she was blue, and Shanann was still on. And that's when he said he grabbed her, threw her off of it, and started. He did the same thing to her.
Do you know Chris to have, I wouldn't necessarily call it a mean streak, but an ability to snap like that? Does that seem unusual for him?
Very unusual. I've never seen him get pissed off about anything. When he pretty much laid back like I am, it takes a lot to get me pissed off. Same kind of deal with him.
Do you think,
they love those children to death.
and obviously we can never put ourselves in that their shoes.
I know. To see that going on and your child and their dad, both your children, dead.
Do you think, if you were in that situation, do you think you would have tried calling 911?
Well, it says she was already purple or blue or whatever. And that's hard to say what goes through somebody's mind when something like that, when you're sitting there looking at your children like that. Hindsight 2020, of course.
Right.
But in the heat of the moment, when that's going on, it was already dead.
What else
You can second guess decisions from day one, as far as what you do, I do, anybody else does, and as far as something like that. It's hard to say.
So when you were talking to him, just you and him, he mentioned that he saw her on the baby monitor in the kitchen?
Yeah, downstairs, yeah.
Right. So when he was talking to the detective later on,
I think that presume he was in the kitchen. I know they got one downstairs. I don't know that one upstairs. I know they got one downstairs.
okay. Because when he was talking to the detectives a little later on, said his story changed.
Mm-hmm.
And he was upstairs, and that's when he shot on the baby monitor. And his story has actually changed three, almost 4 times. That's what actually transpired.
Hmm. No, no.
Do you think it's possible that he could have harmed the 2 girls?
I don't know. I don't know how much he cared about them. I mean, he took care of them 24/7. Every time we were down there, he was doing everything, giving them baths, taking them down the time, reading books, everything else. And he let them do his.
Were you there when he told detectives where to find the 2 girls?
Yeah.
No.
Old Phil.
Were you there when he said exactly where? No.
I think he told me once I left the room the other time.
We had said that the big tanks and the big oil tanks there, and you put the girls in one of the tanks.
Yeah, he told me that.
He had told you that when you guys were talking?
Yeah. No, it was in between when Graham and Davey went in there when they left. You know, he was telling me that at that time.
Did he mention why he put them in the tanks versus burying them?
No, he didn't. No, that time he didn't.
What else did he tell you about?
That was about it. That he said he ruined his life, he ruined my life, my wife, his sister, everybody. He said, some things he wish he would have done was call the police then instead of doing what he did as far as, you know, which that makes sense, because he in the moment with everything going on, he
Right.
leaving.
It's very easy for us all to sit here Monday morning quarterback, and that's not what we're trying to do. We're just trying to understand from your standpoint, you know better than anybody.
Yeah.
So what you think was going through his mind that
I probably know that we would believe him. Exactly. No, that's what I would think. That everybody would think he killed all 3 of them. Which I don't think that's possible.
why that?
From that person I know he is from day one. I don't think he's got it in him to do that. I mean, what he ended up doing to her, I could see that. See both his children laying there dead by her hand. And then just losing it, going on.
You said you'd never seen him angry before, you'd never seen him mad.
No, besides playing sports, no. I ain't never seen him.
Cheap shot, I guess.
I ain't never seen him get pissed off about anything wrong.
Is there anybody in your family have any mental health issues? Aunts, uncles, sister, grandparents, things like that?
There's an admission that he actually told my wife that her mother and her brother both were bipolar, so.
On her side?
Yeah.
Was she on meds for that at all?
Unfortunately, I don't think she's ever been diagnosed with that. She was telling my wife that her mother and her brother was bipolar. But there's nothing wrong with her.
Of course.
Of course not.
Everybody living in her.
Yeah. But Chris also told me, he said he wasn't seen how many times that she's, how did he put it? Unstable. When it change, flip from one to the other, go off, yelling, go crazy and shit.
Did he mention anything about their conversation? I know he said it was about him leaving, or him cheating on her and not admitting it.
Yeah.
And when you guys were talking softly and close to each other, did you mention anything specific that he said that he thinks set her off, or anything that sort of triggered it? Because they have this discussion, he leaves, goes somewhere else in the house, and he was this commotion, comes back.
He said he was cussing and saying nephew and that this and all this type of stuff. And that's basically what she was saying to him. I guess he's got way on, so I want to work and get out of here. And that's when she did what she did.
Do you have any reason to doubt Chris's story?
No, I don't. I think that he's been back there how many hours? 6, 7 hours, 8 hours.
He's been back there a while, yeah.
And his brain's probably fried by now.
So how did you first become aware that she was missing? Did you receive a phone call? How did you first become aware that this situation was going on?
He's not about them missing.
Mm-hmm.
He called me that, was it Monday night?
Monday night, what did he say?
He says, I don't care what's going on. He said, Shanann and the girls are missing. Nobody knows where they are and all that stuff going on.
What do you remember him telling you about when they were last seen and any of that type of stuff?
Like I said, the original story, they said that he had left, went to work, and the girl had come and checked on her, wellness call, mother check, whatever it was, and couldn't find them in the house or nothing. Their car was there, the keys were there, the phone was there.
Mm-hmm.
That's
That's what he told. That's what he tells you.
Yeah.
And what does she think happened? What did she think happened to Shanann and the kids at that
I
point?
thought she just went off on one of her little things again, just getting back at him.
No, what did he tell you? What did he think was going on?
He didn't know, he thought she just left.
He thought she left.
Yeah, left with somebody else or something.
Did he have any theories on who that was or how they would have left when he was talking to you on the phone?
And she ain't thinking about that.
Okay. And then what happens yesterday? You talked to him on the phone yesterday?
Yeah, he just told me about the searching the house, all this interrogation, all this type of stuff. And I said, well, I'm gonna come on up and just be there with you.
Okay.
Like that.
Did he tell you anything new about what was going on or if anything had been found out or anything like that? Okay. Okay. And when did you make the arrangements to come out here today?
Last night.
Okay. So last night you booked a flight?
We got that flight yesterday afternoon, about 6:30. I was still at work. I booked a flight and went out this morning.
Okay. Well, he picked you up from the airport?
Yeah.
What did you guys talk about in the car? Right, did you guys come straight here from the airport?
Straight here, because that's when Graham called him. Right after he picked me up, he said, come by here, so that's when we come straight here.
Okay, and what did she tell you on the way here?
Just what was going on about the cadaver dogs, and they was at the house in with the black lights, looking for blood and stuff like that. Basically, that, and then the interrogation last night and stuff, wherever you went on.
Yeah, well, what did he tell you about where he thinks Shanann and the kids are on the right here from the airport?
He really didn't mention that. He just wish they could be found or whatever. That's what I was saying anyway.
What was he saying?
Same type thing.
When was the first time you found out that he killed Shanann?
When they asked me to come out there, they wanted to talk to me.
Okay, so he didn't tell you that at any point before that or anything?
I had no clue that was coming.
Okay. When was the first time you found out that he said that Shanann killed the kids?
When I was about there with him.
Okay, so you didn't confide that into you before today that you witnessed her doing this awful thing or anything like that? Okay. He didn't maintain the entire time that he thought somebody picked him up, is that right?
Yeah, or she left on her own with somebody else.
Okay.
I heard you mentioned that he wished he had told you sooner when you guys were in there. I mean, and I think that you wished he would have told you sooner about this.
Don't remember that.
Okay. Okay.
Like you said, I remember he said he wished he would have did all this a long time ago as far as break it off and everything. Unless I don't know what he might have been talking about. I don't think that's what he's talking about then. I mean, he said that to me before. That he should have done this a long time ago before I get a separation.
What was his demeanor like when he called to let you know that you said something terrible had happened?
He was tore up. Yeah.
And this was Monday?
Yeah.
2 days ago?
Keep my days straight here.
Yeah. What time travel?
All running together. I ain't got no sleep a couple days either.
So he was also telling some concerned friends not to call the police. That there was nothing to be concerned about, nothing to be worried about, that you probably just talked to somebody else. And, that seems to be somewhat in conflict with his demeanor when speaking with you. And thought behind that as to why you would be saying one thing to you and saying something else to friends.
That I have no idea.
Okay. What was his demeanor like in the car?
All the way there, he was concerned. All that, he was physically and mentally exhausted probably, and everything, of course, you know, what's going on. Like I said, that was his last thing that was on my mind. What's going on now when we was coming over here this morning.
Did he seem to be concerned about all three of them, or was he more concerned about kids, or?
All three of them.
Yeah. Even though he wasn't, he wanted to separate from Shanann.
Yeah, but he thought we talked about that. I said, well, do you want to move back to North Carolina and not, you know, stay out here? You know, like the job and everything here, everything that he's doing here. He's making good money at it. He couldn't make that kind of money, you know, by air turning wrenches and nothing.
What did the baby cause an issue with potentially leaving? Like, did you?
I don't think that had anything to do with it.
He wasn't
Well, I'm
really concerned about
if it did, he never mentioned to me about it, no.
No. Had you discussed names or anything with the other?
Yeah, I don't think he had no idea what gender it was.
Did you seem excited at all?
Yeah,
I know you said it
was. He seemed kind of excited, but he said it went both ways. She said he wanted it, he said she wanted it, you know, type deal, so.
Were you guys excited to have another grandkid on the way?
Yeah. Wasn't only 5, now I got 2.
Sorry.
Alright, okay. I just wrote nothing to a girl. Yeah. So my wife, so everybody else on it.
Is there anything you can think of that would cause her to do this, aside from just you mentioned some bipolar stuff?
Yeah, just, not that I already told y'all this, I said a while back, that if you ever caught him cheating on her, he'd come back to him tenfold. But, you know, he would give back whatever, how she was, I don't know that, I have no idea, that's, she was it, I have no idea.
It's a little extreme.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Are you familiar, have you cheated on her before, to your knowledge?
Not my knowledge. He did, he never mentioned the name.
You had a lot of girlfriends growing up? Yeah.
When seeing her prom, a girl asked him. So.
Did he say yes?
Yep. Good. He would.
Good. Did you have fun?
Evidently. I don't think they ever really dated that much afterwards. I mean, really, he didn't date a whole lot in high school, no.
So, do you think he was shy? Females made him uncomfortable at all? Or was it just, he was doing his own thing?
He was shy, and he was working on going to school and all this other stuff. Then when he got out of school, like I said, he moved up to Mooresville and NASCAR tech and stuff. And we helped him through that school and stuff. And he moved a couple times to a couple different roommates and stuff like that. But he just always got to get an education and, you know, start making money and stuff.
When he told you that he was going to propose to Shanann, did he tell you why? Like why he loved her, why he wanted to get married to her?
Not really, because I remember we was all down at the beach at the same time. We was all, not beach with that, I was Myrtle or whatever. So we all had the same condo type thing, or a beach house, which they were in part of it, we was in part of it. And the next day, you know, they told us about it, but they went down on the beach and proposed to her and everything.
Oh, so did you not know about it in bed?
No.
No, I'm surprised.
It was good.
Good.
Mm-hmm.
You think Anything else?
It's not gonna piss again, they ain't got this much water, because every time we come out here, so make sure to start drinking a lot of water more, and so this altitude give you a headache.
That's the truth, man.
The only thing I wasn't clear about is, when was the first time you heard from Chris Lynn that he was considering separating, or was it 3 weeks ago, or was it before that?
It's about 3 weeks ago, probably, some of that time frame.
But you kind of implied that, it wasn't a surprise, or that he had considered it before. Had he discussed that with you before, or what made you think
They
of
had
it?
discussed before, he just said he should have done it, once he did tell us about it, he said I should have done this a long time ago, because the love and everything's just not there anymore.
Mm-hmm. And had he had conversations with you about that in the past, that things weren't going right? Or is this the first you kind of heard that things were going right?
Yeah.
Obviously, when something happens like this, you know, it's a tragedy all around. And, you know, the one thing that people want to ask is, you know, why something happened.
Yeah.
And, you know, unfortunately, that's the one thing we can't. But is there any insight that you can provide to us about, you know, why you think something like this happened? Other than what you already told us, obviously.
Nothing really, like I said, her mood swings and everything else, and I don't know, she just went off that morning, but I think nothing, he had told her a few days before that, he wanted to get a separation and stuff, sell the house and stuff. And actually, she had already sent an email to the realtor about selling the house, and which Chris said he called and confirmed it and stuff. Well,
Yeah.
She wanted to knew it was coming. And I guess Monday morning, she was training went off for it. And I guess she thought it was going to go away, or they was start seeing a counselor or try to change or something. But
Yeah.
It's a violent way to.
Did you mention, and this, I know we don't really have time for questions left, but did he mention at all that when she came home from her trip, you know, obviously she's pregnant, so she's probably not drawn clue. Did it seem like she was in a bipolar mood at all? Did it seem like she was on any drugs? Did he mention anything to you about
How she was
unusual? Yeah. I know it was late when she got home.
Yeah.
Nothing like that. You said you wasn't a drug user.
Did you ever become aware that they had possible plans to go for a weekend getaway this weekend or anything like that? You never told anything about that?
They asked us about what she did. They had a thing coming up in October, I think it was, to go to one of these resort things for the Vale. She told me, being like, oh, tag your head, y'all have to come out here and watch kids. Type deal when she was down working on it. See, what's tag your head to? You ask somebody, you don't say, you don't come out here and do it. And then she fly out here and do this and shit.
Yeah.
Of course, we didn't have a problem at the time with all that stuff. That vacation time left, we still do it.
Yeah. Well, I don't think I have anything else to ask unless there's something you think we should know that we haven't asked.
Not that I can think of right now, Lisa. My brain's not much too right now.
Yeah, I think we're all probably in that place.
Appreciate you sitting down and taking some time to chat with us.
I'm probably to call my wife back, check on her, make sure she or they want to pick her up to back to her house.
Yeah.
Okay.
How is she taking it?
Very good.
Yeah, I can imagine.
That's it.
I've been
I think she got a little video of how she does, but I'm watching her now. There you go. That's
yeah,
Yeah.
a couple weeks ago.
I just like that, tons of pictures of them.
So as far as the rest of the night, have they told it, are you Do you have a hotel or something?
We'll have to find one here.
I think they said that to help you drive you over where you need to go and stuff.
Yeah, that's the thing we get. All right, do you know, are they taking the trips downtown tonight, or what they're doing, or anything? I'll talk to Graham about that, or?
My assumption is that he'll probably be taking it custody tonight when he booked into Well County Jail, which is up in Greenwood.
I don't know where that place is.
It's north and east of here, 30 minutes maybe? Yeah.
I guess we all information there, so I should be able to see him tomorrow, I presume, right?
Yeah, I would imagine he'll be booked through and all that stuff, I think.
Yeah, so the news crew out there now, is this the thing they're gonna start telling what's going on now, is this still?
Yeah, the bosses are making those decisions, so that's not something we're really involved in. Deciding how and when to put stuff out, so.
I think there'll be a more formal press release tomorrow. Get the button on there.
Oh, that might not be very good.
You've done this before.
I didn't realize we were locked in there.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to figure out first time, was that there, how do you get in there?